One getting underway, the first game of many. 10 matches played out today, 2 best-of-5 semi-finals tomorrow, and a best-of-7 grand final played out on Sunday. That's a lot of games. I don't think we've said that before.
No, yeah, that's one of the first times I've ever cast a best-of-7 of anything.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a really intense, and obviously you're guaranteed to get the intended victor out of a best-of-7.
Well, we just hope it's not a clean sweep.
Well, there you go. Right.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
Here we go. A couple of things to mention right off the bat here, D-Man. Fiora banned against Leon. Fiora is one of the most obnoxious Baron laners in the game. She has very, very few bad matchups. In fact, I think no bad matchups almost. And so I think that's also starting to hammer home on Leon here, trying to make him a little bit more uncomfortable.
And it's interesting because obviously, you know, we're looking at Coldstar as well. Obviously, the two top laners, effectively, there's almost the stars of the teams clashing early on.
But Coldstar is very much a tanky play for the team. Zone.
I'm expecting a Renekton, I gotta be honest.
I'm expecting a Garen, I'm expecting maybe a Gragas there. There's lots of things that can be played.
There's the Seraphim band.
As I said, Coldstar gave away his tactics in his little video. Yeah, they're going to see the Seraphim band away. Ziggs has remained, I think, the most consistent competitive ban in Wild Rift competitive history. He just takes towers really quickly. Towers are not like they are in the traditional League of Legends PC game. They are a bit more paper-like, and they go down.
So, okay. We'll see how this is going to go through. Senna going out. We were talking about possible focus. I don't really know where the focus is going right now. Xin, that is a focus ban.
Yeah.
Doom played this one throughout June, July. I think it had a 90-95% win rate just because he played about 12 games in it. That is absolutely 100% focused, and then the Camille coming through.
Yeah, we're going to see the Camille ban finally here. So a couple of Leon's important pickups have gone down the drain. Senna banned away because although I think not a lot of people consider Senna a particular strong pick outside of competitive, fasting Senna lanes are quite obnoxious to play against, and a lot of people do like to play a very, very strong bot lane with Senna in competitive, where it works a lot more freely.
There is Doom with the unicorn on the screen, Leon on the left there with Doom to the right, and obviously we got Snitch, that you've all seen on camera many times on the right of him. So the Gragas, the first pick for the Unicorns of Love. I mean, play it where you want, but hello, Lee Sin coming straight in from RIX.
That's absolutely a gauntlet thrown down here. The good thing about the Lee Sin is that it is a flex for RIX. It can be played both by Leon and Doom. And Leon is one of the very few Baron laners in Europe who plays Lee Sin top right now. None of them play Lee Sin top.
It's such a high-skill champion.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's such a high-skill champion. With the Gragas also being there. I mean, there's not a lane where Gragas cannot play. The Riven's going to come straight up.
That is wild to me. We have been seeing it over in Southeast Asia a little bit. Riven is quite strong. Riven jungle, though, is something that Doom does like and will play. And what I love about the Riven and Lee Sin is that is completely interchangeable here for RIX.
Yeah.
They can definitely flex that to both roles.
Okay. Rakan looking like coming in, so we'll see whether they get the Zarya. And we were talking about whether they were going to focus on the AD carries. That they haven't at the moment.
Yes.
We were expecting them maybe to come early, but it's something they're trying to reserve for later. And the Galio.
Galio, super strong map control, great team fight presence. It's a very strong competitive pick in general. Can either be played in mid lane, sometimes support, but obviously we're not going to see it here. This will be the mid lane pick, which means that Gragas will either be going jungle or top lane. Given it's Coldstar, I'm imagining it's a Baron lane pickup for him.
And that's some fantastic crowd control there with the Gragas, the Rakan, and the Galio. There's a lot of knockups there. Explosive cast coming through, of course. To see how it's going to work out, there is the Ezreal Braum, so we're already seeing what the Dragon lane is going to be. Ezreal, definitely one of the top tier ADs out there at the moment.
And there's Kai'Sa. As we said, Kai'Sa and Ezreal, the two most picked AD carries I think you'll see across this championship if they're not banned, and the immediate response. And Graves comes through. So Graves jungle, Gragas Baron lane.
Yep, think so.
Galio. The problem that I have with this comp is it's very short range, and the damage is very reliant on Kai'Sa as we go through the game. However, there isn't much to disengage away from that short range apart from the Braum here from RIX. So this last pick for me is going to be integral, and I love it. I think it's a great addition. That shockwave and dissonance is going to make it very difficult for Galio, Gragas, and for Graves.
Exactly, and if you think of almost the pile-on factor of the Rakan obviously going in there, probably going to get the Galio jumping on top of either him or the Gragas, then immediately throw that shockwave on top of them, bam, dissipates, absolutely pulls them all together. Lot of damage on RIX's team, no doubt about it, and a lot of control for the Unicorns of Love. Where do we see this going?
Oh my gosh, we're going into game very soon.
Well, let's get into it. Game number 1.
Here we go. I can just hear Leon in the background. His voice is hyped up for this. These other two comps locked in. It is going to be that Galio mid. Again, as I said, short range, lots of crowd control. If you can keep this team fight collected and together and find a good engage that catches Snitch and Friend or in there, then I think you are looking at a strong team fight for Unicorns of Love. But as I said, you're a little vulnerable to the range advantage that RIX are bringing with the Ezreal and the Orianna. That's one problem that I think you're going to have. And so you have to be a little careful about how you approach these team fights because you get outranged massively.
Be a very defensive approach for him. Faton, of course, in the jungle with the Graves. Not something new, something we've seen for many years now, in all fairness. It's almost become the standard jungle path. You don't... It started out life in the Dragon Lane many years ago, moved out of that long ago.
Mate, that's old school League of Legends.
That is
there.
Old school, yeah.
It was something that about 2 months ago we saw quite a bit of in the jungle for the Wild Rift scene, but he got nerfed pretty heavily. His base stats got gutted a little bit. So we do sometimes see him come out. He got a big buff with some of the changes to the items, which made some build paths a little bit more viable for him. But some of his really, really core items have taken a hit, like the Solari Charge Blade. So I'm expecting to see a more late game focused Graves here. You need something to complement the damage coming out from ZaQ on this Kai'Sa. Speaking of ZaQ, this Kai'Sa is a really strong pick for him. He's very, very comfortable on it, and I'm expecting to see him perform well here.
Absolutely. So, quick early scuttlegram. Looking to see if any little options. I can see that the Riven of Doom is doing the exact same on the south side river. So very much even paths, and they are both going for the invade. So pretty much following each other's path right now.
This is a super... Oh my gosh, Leon, he is going... Oh, he lands!
He's got it!
Wave!
Coldstar, absolutely done, and that was a straight 1v1. There will be, obviously, the revenge kill from Faton, but that was Coldstar in a straight 1v1, all burning summoners.
If you are looking to settle the nerves here, that was a great way to settle the nerves for Leon, especially. You did mention that that pathing from the junglers. That is very standard. You see a red to blue side clear into a Krug invade. That is the most standard competitive jungle pathing that you're going to get, and you'll see Doom head back over towards his blue buff and clean that up. It basically power levels you to level 5. Let's take a look back at this again. Somehow Leon just got the better of Coldstar in the 1v1 there. We missed the majority of it, but luckily, because Faton went for that red side invade onto the Krugs, he was there and ready to clean up the kill.
Yeah, and I got to assume the positioning that they were in, it was Coldstar that was kind of being the aggressor, but was caught out of position. Here goes Doom to see what he can do getting around the back. There gets onto Grizzly Q. You can see Snitch has joined them as well. They're going to go for Leon on the top of the tower. Jukes the skill shot, gets out of there. There's the knockup from Grizzly Q. That's going to all go wrong. Doom is going to get taken down. The reversal coming out from the Unicorns of Love as they try and catch onto the other. ZaQ will be able to flash away. Grizzly Q very low, can't get involved in this, and I don't think they can chase it to that tri-bush. They will have to back away, but it was a one for... Well, effectively a 1-for-1 because the top, but they didn't actually get Leon down.
And they're going straight onto Leon on the top side. Leon finds the hit.
And Leon's going for it, and he's got the help arriving. Here comes Doom coming around the side. Faton's going to have to run away from this one. Leon wants to get another, but no. The Sonic Wave lands on the Krug, and he's not going to be able to follow through.
Unfortunately, RIX, they're still going. They want Coldstar here.
Coldstar's coming through. Look at this. Clue and Snitch are here. It's a full-on melee. They're all piling in. The big knockup comes through. That's a huge hit there. Doom will manage to flash away from that one, but it is simple. Disengage right now. Clue's doing what he can. That is a Braum that is tanky enough. And nobody going down. Coldstar and Leon, of course, were picked off on the top there. They're still a 1-for-1, but these boys want to fight.
Absolutely seeing the aggression from Unicorns of Love here. They're on the map. They're taking RIX every single fight. RIX, they felt pushed to go for a bot lane tower dive to basically facilitate the pressure that we saw coming out from Faton on the top. They knew they had a man advantage. They were trying to force the issue. But tower diving when a Galio exists in the game is always scary. They botched the first engage. Galio was able to get there to regenerate, and essentially that allowed Unicorns of Love to build back from the bot lane and find that kill.
So first Dragon going down, and it is RIX that will be taking it. Is that going to get transferred? Often is. The transference is they go for that Rift Herald. They want to get Leon on the top lane. Leon is going to be the focus here. He's already getting away from this one. Realize the pathfinding coming in. There's going to be the Grand Exchange, and immediately, Grand Entrance, sorry, as he gets knocked straight in the air. Snitch will come up, and they are going to try and fight for it. They're going to push the middle tower, but they can collapse on the river onto this Rift Herald.
Leon went for the fight here. He's still in the middle of it.
And that comes across. Fan very low. Snitch is also going to get picked off. He goes down. Phatom does manage to get away. Leon comes back in and he goes down. That's a 2 for 0. The shockwave not available anymore with Snitch gone. Grizzly Q low though. Still having to tank out this Rift Herald. But it is RIX that lose 2. And Unicorns of Love will take the Herald.
Oh my word, so well played. We talked about it. If they were able to keep that team fight together and not get exploited by the range of RIX, right now Unicorns of Love are just edging this one out. Unfortunately, Friend, he has invested a lot of time into farming, invested a lot of time into just absorbing minion waves, hasn't quite been there at the start of these engages, and it has been ZachQ that has been benefiting. 1,000 gold in the lead now for Unicorns of Love. And I think RIX look a little unsettled here. This is not the type of RIX that we've been seeing across the rest of the Origin series, and this Unicorns of Love aggressive playstyle coming together quite nicely. Leon held on to this Sonic Wave for a very long time, and watch this, caught straight in the knock-up into the stun from the Galio. You always have to be careful when team fighting against the Galio because of the pure CC that he's able to provide. And unfortunately, I just don't think RIX are able to use that range advantage right now. They're trying to play too much around Doom and Leon, playing into a melee-focused team fight, but I think you get gutted in a melee team fight here versus what Unicorns of Love have brought to the table.
The crowd control they have, it seems, is setting them up nicely, and as you say, the grand entrance, the Heroes entrance as well, all being very much measured with Sneeland piling in there. And Leon, I mean, we talked about this, like, obviously, from RIX's point of view, often they would like to get their top laner going. And yes, Leon has been involved in, well, just about everything now. Right now, he's 2 for 3, so he's been involved in everything that's happened. But he hasn't had any chance to get going yet. They have focused him so much, but he's still ahead in gold. He's still almost 1,000 ahead of Cold Star in gold. That could translate later on. And let's not forget, RIX did get the Dragon.
Trying to go for this Rift Herald here. You can see Unicorns of Love not going to commit too much to that fight. I think right at this point, RIX are kind of saying, let's just calm it down a little bit. Let's get Friend and let's get Snitch to a point where they have 2 or 3 items. And we might be able to go for the fight. They're going to drop that Rift Herald top. That should be first tower of the game. With the amount of HP that tower's got left available, Leon should just let this one go. Yeah.
As soon as he sees Sneeland there, has to back away. Mid lane, meanwhile, they're going to try and transfer this, see if they can try and pick it up, and they're collapsed in. Look at this. A 4-man collapse into the mid. They do manage to get the knockback and the stun on Grizzly Q, but he gets away from this one. They won't get away from the second one. They're fast on ball in. Sneeland arrives, but Doom on nothing will go down to the tick in the end. Oh, close fight.
Close fight, but they defend the mid lane tier 1. They don't let too many resources drop. Unicorns of Love still coming out on top right now. This is not the game that people were expecting to see. I think a lot of people were expecting RIX to come in and absolutely slaughter this. And this is a nice surprise for me because this is really showing A, what can happen in a best of 1 at LAN, but B, Group B may be underrated compared to the rest.
Absolutely, and this is something we've kind of talked about. Snitch is kind of sniffing something's not right here, and he's just going to back away from that one. Something we talked about is the fact is, are they ready for the aggression from CIS? We know they're ready to fight. And at the moment, it's not just been unanswered, like, crazy aggression, it's been backed up. They've had teammates there. They have thought about these fights and taken objectives off the back of it.
The coordination is what I'm loving from Unicorns of Love right now. It hasn't been single players making plays, which I think for RIX, especially when you've got someone like Leon, it has felt a little bit more individually driven. Right now, you can see the Unicorns of Love are communicating heavily. I can hear them on stage. They're constantly talking, constantly keeping themselves in the loop of what's going on. And they are very coordinated with the way that they're approaching the map right now. I just think that botched tower dive 1 at level 3 or level 4 kind of offset RIX a little bit, and they've been struggling to recoup ever since.
So Dragon back up, and it does look like it's going to be a point of impact. Friend trying to keep them at bay there. Doom does start it off, but has to disengage. Snitch is finally going to arrive, so here comes the mid laner. They want to try and set something up. There's the ball. It was actually set up nicely to try and pull a shockwave. Instead, here comes the Heroes entrance. Smashes them down, and that is a real problem for RIX right now. They're going to try and get away from this one. They do manage to get Cold Star down, but that is all I feel as they back away to their tower. A 1-for-1 trade is not done yet. Phatom's going to try and focus on Snitch, tries to get around the side, gets a bit more damage down to Grizzly Q. Leon looking for the kick, not going to happen. And all the time, Friend placed perfectly to get involved.
Sneeland's doing so much damage right now that even though they're trying to buy the range, he's actually chunking out Snitch and Friend. I understand what RIX were trying to do there. Disengage, use the range of the Orianna, use the range of the Ezreal. Snitch has got to be super careful. The True Shot Barrage comes in.
True Shot Barrage catches Phaeton off there a little bit. Snitch does what he can to keep them at bay, but let's not forget that Dragon is still there, and we have the Baron coming up in 20.
Yeah, I don't think Baron will be a point of contention just yet, but it does look due to back timings. You saw that RIX were able to back very quickly, clear the wave mid. They don't lose anything for it, and they should be able to pick up this Dragon. So second Dragon of the game, going the way of RIX, is going to provide a bit of Omni-Vamp to the rest of their team, which may be useful, especially when kiting back for the Ezreal. That is a big win. That's a kick, though.
That is a kick. They're doing it to catch him in and lock him up. The tower doing the damage that he needs to. Coldstart tanking it out, but Clue's in all sorts of trouble. He tries to get away, but that is the Dragon laner down, and that will be a turret to follow. So a Dragon down. Leon goes in just as you think they're done. They're not quite. That is a massive hit from Doom, but it's not quite enough to follow it up. They have lost their support as well, and it will be Unicorns of Love that back away without losing a man.
My God, you can just see the teamfight play from Unicorns of Love is so strong. RIX feeling that they're a little bit more, or a little bit stronger than they are. That was a 4v5 opted into by them. They underestimated rather the tankiness from Coldstar. That Gargoyle enchant so huge to be able to provide a lot of sustain for him. He had the immediate backup of his team as well. Unicorns of Love are just playing the better teamfight right here. I understand what Leon's doing, but you are hitting one of the tankiest members of the team immediately into a huge Gargoyle stone plate. Impossible to take him down, and a great cask to isolate Clue. And they knew then they had the stats, the health, to take this mid lane tier 1 down. And there's nothing that RIX could really do about it in the same time. For RIX, unfortunately, Friend, Arcane shift forwards, you're going to die as an Ezreal if you can't find the kill in that scenario, and Friend just a little bit over-eager to make that play. But at the end of the day, there is still only a 2,500 gold lead to Unicorns of Love. They are not steamrollering this in terms of gold. It is still a relatively even game.
They certainly have that pick potential, RIX, but the question is, can they get through what is effectively the iron wall right now? What is Rakan doing? Grizzly Q, realizing he's going to have to get it through the Baron pit to get out of there because he was trying to set some sort of trap up, and that may be the first mistake we've seen from Unicorns of Love, but he didn't get caught out, so he's safe from that one. But they have been controlling the fight.
Yes.
Like every fight is very much Unicorns of Love fully in control.
The team fights from Unicorns of Love have been incredibly well placed, microing in and out of their low HP bars to ensure that the front person is taking the majority of the damage. They realize that the person at the front is going to take all the damage. Right now it is a pure front to back here from RIX. They realize that RIX have to attack the person that is closest to them because of the way that their comp works.
They're going straight in. They're slaying onto it. Grizzly Q, in comes the hero's entrance. Clue has managed to get away. Snitch is very low. Will get pulled out in the end by Zach Q there. The Kaiser finishing the job. What? 4-man kick coming out from Leon, but there's no follow-up. Snitch is gone. Snitch is out of there. Clue is in all sorts of trouble. Fiend has been picked out as well. And RIX, every time they engage, look at the health bars. Unicorns Love, they're fairly untouched.
I mean, what you're supposed to do is at least in a Riven in these fights, you just can't do anything, and they're still going for the engage onto Doom.
It's another grand entrance straight onto Doom, and Doom just tries to get away from this one. The tower's gone. They may just send straight back on them. He goes in with the Guardian Angel. I get it, but there's 3 of you, not 4, not 5. Leon has to try and get away from this one, but I don't think he's going to get out with his life. The tick should finish him off, and it will take him down. Coldstar gets the kill, 12-4. Unicorns of Love absolutely dashing the hopes and dreams of Group A.
I know, absolutely.
Right,
Unicorns of Love have come prepared, and the comp, it works for them. I was a little worried about that range, the problem dealing with the Orianna and the Ezreal, but what does Lee Sin and a Riven actually do here? They don't do anything for this comp. You're not going to isolate anyone because the only person you can look to isolate is the Kaiser, and it's very difficult to find that engage versus a Gragas and a Galio. And then what does the Riven do here? I don't understand the point in the Riven other than to try and get ahead and snowball from the early game.
And the problem for me is that I've been seeing these engagements, and they've been good engagements from RIX, but there's no follow-up, there's no backup, because Snitch wasn't there. Snitch got caught out early. He had to go back.
I don't think you can play the engage fight, Dion.
Oh, they're caught out again. That is absolutely a dead man. Nothing that Clue can do about that. They're going to try and follow on the engage. They've got Grizzly Q off. They managed to pick it off. They may get the next one as well. Doom taken low. Doom goes big. He goes in towards the tower, but is it going to be enough now? Leon is off the side. He can't get involved in this one. Steeler taken low. But look at Friend on the back side. He's trying to do what he can. Phaeton's going to go in, but that's a tricky engage. He goes in towards the blue buff, and Phaeton is not done yet. He wants to follow. They're not allowing them a second to breathe.
My God, but that was one of the best fights we've seen from RIX, but it is still Unicorns of Love well in the lead right here. Finally, Doom finds the broken up team fight they were looking for. They are going to keep poking this from the edge. Maybe teleports coming in from Clue, maybe teleports coming in from Doom. They're going to back off though. They don't want to take this. They've got 2 dragons already. They will leave the mountain for the time being. Again, they do have that late game element to their team. If they can get the Orianna and the Ezreal to 2 to 3 items, plus probably 3 items at this point, they do have that range that can be very devastating to deal with. And that we talking about it, that's one of the things that I thought was going to play into their advantage, but unfortunately they're just not able to peel right now. They're not able to buy the space for both Snitch and Friend.
And with both mid turrets down, let's just take us through this fight, because I mean it was clear he was simply he was going in, he wants to get the ward down, but they followed the fight.
Unfortunately, the Galio was just a little slow to respond here. He was out of range, and that just meant by the time the Galio, by the way, I think Sneeland's one of the strongest players on this team. I think by the time that Sneeland actually joined the fight, unfortunately, the rest of them had got cleaned up by Doom. It was a face check that I think Clue had to make. They didn't want to let that Baron go down for free, but because Unicorns of Love have got complete control of the map, they can demand these kind of face checks. They can force RIX to walk into them, and RIX do not want to walk into this comp because they definitely don't have any legs versus it in melee range.
And now we see the full invade with the mid turret's gone. The vision is very much starved right now. And look at the map, there's barely anything for RIX right now. So they need to be very, very careful of their approach when they're coming in here. They can see they're trying to set something up. Clues go in. Leon really wants to start a fight off, doesn't he? He needs to be very careful of his approach as he goes looking once again. At the moment, though, Leon, he's caught again. He's caught that Sonic Wave. It's almost like the bait. And he actually caught ZachQ with it, which would have been the right target, but the rest of his team are not close enough, and it's a risky fight with zero vision. Again,
the problem is that do you actually want to start a fight that way if you're RIX? Because I really think that you're now playing a game of Leon.
Well, Leon does.
Yeah, I know Leon does, but I think Leon needs to use his kick to disengage. I think Leon needs to use his kick to kick Galio away from the backline and allow Snitch and Friend to have the space they need to carry these team fights through. I think if you're engaging a team fight as Leon, I think you're actually playing these team fights wrong for RIX. I think that you need to be there as a kick bot to kick away the closest target from the Orianna and from the Ezreal to ensure that you're giving them the space required to be able to go ahead and kind of beat these team fights out from distance.
RIX felt sure that they were on Baron there. They just rushed in to get those wards in. They felt certain that it was happening. Now they're going to clear out. Now while that happened, Unicorns of Love, of course, backed and buyed. So they have got themselves a big, fancy, juicy stack of items once again.
Have indeed.
Friend just catching a little bit. He's got to be careful. He's getting aggressed on by ZachQ. In comes Clue immediately to block it out.
Oh,
but
that's a mistake,
taking a lot of damage, and that's Unicorns of Love quickly evacuating. Now this one, Leon did use that kick to detonate, but that's a massive explosive cast from the Unicorns of Love.
Oh, wait a second, here we go.
But they're going to turn it back around. The shockwave comes through. Is it going to be enough to catch on towards them? No, GrizzlyQ getting caught out. The revival coming for Doom as well. Coldstar will fall down, and it is a 2-for-0 in favor of RIX at the perfect time.
That is huge for RIX. We finally hit that threshold whether we have a 3-item Ezreal, a 3-item Orianna, and it is difficult. ZachQ made the huge error at the start and went for that killer instinct right into the front line, and Leon just about managed to find that opportunity to go in. RIX have a huge win here. You saw exactly what happens. Once that disengage is pushed back, once they can't find melee range engages from Unicorns of Love, RIX are able to use that range to their advantage and batter them from a distance without any reply. That is the team fight that RIX need to look for time and time again here, and we are at 2,000 gold at 18 minutes into the game. That is nothing in Wild Rift terms. This is an even game. It is a coin flip at this point who can really come out ahead.
Big part for Leon and Doom is they're getting tankier as well, which is going to help them out. They won't get picked off. They are the initial engagers, and Doom, we've seen him already. He's been piling through the team, looking, hunting for Zach, hunting for that damage onto, say, GrizzlyQ. And look at Doom once again. He's looking for more here. They want to get the invade. Oh, they went in to try and maybe pull the shockwave there, but it wasn't Phaeton they were looking for. They wanted to get on towards ZachQ. That's where the fight began last time. Coldstar taking down about half the health already. Chip damage is coming through from RIX, and it is strong. And once again, they're setting up for Dragon.
And going for it, Leon's looking for some kind of engage onto GrizzlyQ or ZachQ here, but won't find it. Sneeland tanking a lot of that damage with that magic damage shield that the Galio has. It is Infernal Elder. It is the worst Elder in the game to lose, and you can see that both teams are now playing the map around this objective. It will be a Rift Scuttler take here for RIX, which is a pretty big win around these kind of late game objectives.
I'm feeling it. there is a giant shockwave coming. I just see Snitch angling for it a couple of times in that fight. ZaQ caught out, by the way.
Oh,
There's
that's
a good kick. Sneeland actually making use of that kick. Now that's not going to be available for Leon for a good couple of seconds, so that's a disengage factor actually, and Unicorns are love realizing this. Just
they don't have flashes though. They
just
don't
back away.
They don't have flash for Sneeland. They don't have flash for Grizzly Q. They are waiting, and for Cold Star, they're waiting for these things to be up to find the engages onto the backline for RIX. They need those summoner spells at this point to be able to isolate and deal with the backline. Watch for Cold Star. Watch for his explosive cast. He's going to be looking to isolate Snitch or isolate Friend and make it very. Oh, that's the engage.
There's Grizzly going through it. He's going to try and get the knock-up. He's actually pretty well disengaged by RIX. They got around the backside, but Doom has been kept out of this fight. Leon can't get involved. He gets taken down. Doom comes around the side, but RIX are getting decimated by the Unicorns of Love. They've taken 1, 2, 3, looking for more. Doom and Clue run away, and I tell you what, they might finish the game right here.
They're going for the end. It is absolutely huge for them. Unicorns of Love pushing down that first inhibitor tower. They stand just moments away for the first game of this Origin Series Championship. Clue and Doom desperately trying to disengage this.
30 seconds to hold on. That's all they can do. Try and hold them back, but Doom is going to get picked off. Doom goes down. They're tanking the damage. Clue goes down. The Nexus will fall, and the Unicorns of Love will take the first game.
My God, the faces on those guys, the sounds that came from, you can see what it means to them. That is a huge win. Upsets the apple cart here. Oh my word, that is absolutely huge for the first game of the day.
You know what? We did rehearsal. I said, don't